Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back. So many of you know about the new Terraria update crossover with the game Don't Starve Together. There are new weapons, pets, vanity, and more. They even added in a new seed that completely changes the normal Terraria playstyle to the Don't Starve style, which means that if I want to survive, then I will need to stuff my face with food every so often so I don't die of hunger. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so right off the bat, as soon as I spawned into the world, I noticed that the lighting was a lot more brown and much more dimmer, just like how the game Don't Starve Together is. I also noticed on the top left, I had a buff called Peckish. When the 5 minutes was up, I knew that I was gonna starve to death, so I ate a mushroom to prevent that from happening. But to my surprise, it had no effect at all. There were also spider caves up on the surface, and the getting hurt sound effect is also different as well. At nighttime, I started to starve, and my life points was dropping. The only way for me to get my hands on some food was to make some NPC houses for the merchant to spawn, and then purchase the net from him to start capturing some animals. But I haven't even started making any houses, so I ended up starving to death. I made a house, and it's not the prettiest of houses, but it'll do. Afterwards, I started mining underground for some materials and life crystals. When I got back up to the surface, I started making some NPC houses to spawn in the merchant. I then started to die purposefully, creating a graveyard for mist to appear. By doing so, I'm now able to craft the Gravedigger's shovel. This shovel is an auto-swing weapon, and it can dig up multiple dirt blocks at once. I went back down underground and found some more life crystals, and then I bought the net from the merchant to capture some animals and critters. I used some of the critters to fish, and now I finally have some food to feed myself with. I went down underground to find some more weapons, accessories, and a few more life crystals before I summoned the Eye of Cthulhu. After defeating the Eye of Cthulhu, I drank a gravitation potion and found a couple of sky islands with the red balloon and sky fury, as well as the fledgling wings. I went to the corruption and broke 3 shadow orbs to summon the Eater of Worlds, and I ended up using the mace for this fight. So after defeating the Eater of Worlds, I was now able to make the full shadow armor. I then mined all the way down to hell. When I was down in hell, I started making a really long bridge to fight the wall of flesh. I also mined some hellstone to make the full molten armor. I then went back down to summon the wall of flesh. I ended up using the Star Fairy for this fight since I could attack it from a safe distance and hit multiple eyes at the same time. Afterwards, I went back down to the corruption and broke some demon altars to spawn in the hard mode ores. I started to mine cobalt ore first, then orichalcum, and then finally titanium. With the titanium bars, I made the full titanium armor. There was a new boss that I found out, and it was called the Deerclops. I needed some flinks first, which is why I'm down here, but a pigron showed up, and after killing it, I got this ham-looking weapon. It's called the Ham Bat, and it does more damage the better food I eat. After collecting enough flinks fur, I was then able to make the deer thing. But before I fought the Deerclops, I summoned the Destroyer, and I used the Ham Bat. Its attack speed was surprisingly really fast. which made it a perfect weapon to fight the destroyer with. But I did have to switch it out with the titanium sword afterwards, because its attack reach was a lot shorter than the sword. After defeating the destroyer, I went to the snow biome and summoned the Deerclops. It was extremely intimidating. When it got close enough to attack me, it started shooting out icicles towards me, and it even flung snowballs up into the air. But the damage it did to me was very little, like it only did 1 damage to me. So I think I was supposed to fight this way early on. But nonetheless, it was still a really cool boss to fight. After killing the Deerclops, I got some pretty cool items, like a pet that acts like a piggy bank that follows me around, a pneumatic horn that shoots out random projectiles, and a vanity hat that summons a cloud that pours rain down onto me. Next up on the list are the twins. I definitely could have made this boss fight a lot easier on myself if I gotten a ranged weapon, but I just ended up using the titanium sword, so I had to get up really close to the boss to deal damage. Now it's time to take on the last mechanical boss, Skeletron Prime. Now having all 3 souls from each mechanical boss, I made the pickaxe axe. I needed better wings than the fledgling wings, so I killed some wyverns for their souls of flight to make demon wings. Next up, I went down into the jungle and mined some chlorophyte ore to make the true Excalibur. I killed the destroyer one more time to get enough hollowed bars to make the full hollowed armor. I went down the jungle and found the Plantera ball pretty quickly, so I blew up an area with some dynamite to make an arena. After I was done, I broke the Plantera bulb to summon the boss. After defeating Plantera, I went straight to the jungle temple and summoned Golem. After Golem was defeated, I decided to make the Knight's Edge, to then make the Terra Blade. But first, I needed the Broken Hero Sword, so I killed Mothron during the solar eclipse to get one. After making the Terra Blade, I took care of the solar eclipse. I know that the solar eclipse wasn't fully finished off, but I went to the dungeon anyways to summon the Lunatic Cultists. After defeating him, I went on to destroy the 4 pillars, starting with the Stardust Pillar, then Vortex, Nebula, and then finally Solar. I got back home, made the daybreak, and then got ready to fight Moonlord. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I know for sure I had a blast with this new update. All the new items, weapons, pets, and the boss were very interesting. I haven't explored 100% of the items in this update, but if you guys want to see for yourself, then all you have to do is type the constant into the seed for when you're making a new world. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.